Welcome to the Mortgage Broker Podcast, tailor-made for Canadian mortgage industry professionals. Proudly presented by A Better Way Mortgage Group, this podcast is your trusted source for insider insights, market updates, and strategies to elevate your career in the ever-evolving world of mortgage brokering. Whether you're a seasoned broker with A Better Way Mortgage Group or an industry enthusiast looking to stay ahead, our episodes are designed to empower you with the knowledge and tools you need to excel in the Canadian mortgage space.
We're back for another episode of the Mortgage Broker Podcast. And today, this is episode 15, and we're jumping into the Midsummer Mastermind. This is an event that we just recently hosted at A Better Way Mortgage Group. It was actually a resounding success. I would say one of the better events that we've done all year. And the cool part about this event is it was actually hosted virtually on Zoom. We brought together just over 50 of our top brokers at A Better Way Mortgage Group for an engaging and insightful session. And today, we just want to summarize what that was. So essentially, we're going to just quickly share what is a mastermind. For most of you, I would say probably know what a mastermind is. And with that, I'll just kind of jump into ultimately what is a mastermind and then how did we conduct our event. Essentially, a mastermind is a group of brokers or business professionals within the same industry who come together to discuss topics relevant to their business, such as lead generation or personal development. Those are just topics to name a few. During these sessions, participants typically share their strategies and best practices in each category. A moderator usually guides a discussion, encouraging engagement, ensuring that each topic stays within a designated time frame. And having participated in numerous masterminds throughout my career, I've definitely noticed that each one operates a bit differently, and it's all kind of the beauty of this is the diversity in these masterminds. You can be creative with your group and find an approach that works best for you. So that's ultimately what it is. And I would say, when we looked at ours, we ultimately wanted to include the entire group, or at least give access to the entire group of individuals throughout our company. And the fact that we're located in Ontario, Alberta, and BC, spread throughout the country, we wanted to be able to have that ability for us to all take part. And that was why we chose Zoom as a platform to do this. The Midsummer Mastermind, I'll just touch on how we conducted ours because it was a bit different, and I think that was ultimately why it was so successful. Is just how we altered this to fit so many people and make sure that everyone had the ability to participate as a full group, but also in their own breakaway groups, which I'll touch on now. So the Midsummer Mastermind at A Better Way Mortgage Group was very similar, but also different. And so our event being hosted virtually through Zoom, we actually utilized a breakaway room feature, which if you're a BC broker, you'd be familiar with this through the BCFSA renewal course, where we had to complete that for our renewal. They utilized that breakaway room feature. So we kind of took that concept and utilized that in our mastermind. So all participants were divided in groups of 7 to 8 brokers, each featuring one speaker and one moderator. So the moderator was, again, the one that ensured that the group stayed on time and on track while masterminding each topic, as well as keeping notes and summarizing the group's top three takeaways for each topic. And then the speaker ultimately would be the one to deliver that back to the main group. So the session covered 4 topics, which we're going to touch on today. Initially, everyone will meet as one group in the main group, and then breaking away into their breakaway groups to talk about or mastermind each of these topics, reconvening back in the main room where the speaker would share the top 3 takeaways from each topic. And that was how we were able to include the entire room outside of just those breakaway rooms. And I think that was honestly, for me, that was the most successful piece of it all, is to be able to actually collaborate as a group of 50. So with that, today we're going to go through the 4 topics that we discussed in our recent mastermind. We had just a plethora of notes from the entire group. We have those notes ready on our ABW intranet. So there's a very clear and concise consolidated list of all the notes from every room from all the takeaways that our brokers have had access to. Today, what we want to do, instead of going through all of those notes, we actually consolidated the top 3 takeaways from each topic. And that's what we're going to discuss today. So I'll pass off to Derek. Derek and Jason are both with me. Both participated in the mastermind. Derek and Jason both moderated actually their own rooms. And so what we'll do is maybe, Derek, you can just kind of highlight the topics that we did discuss, and then we'll just break it down and banter on the takeaways.
we touched on 4 topics, and like Dean mentioned, it was fairly compressed. So, these takeaways are relatively high level, and our goal with all this is that we're going to be doing follow-up sessions to really dig deep into every single topic that we covered. So topic number 1, which I think is probably the most important in a broker's business, especially right now, is database management. Topic number 2 is lead generation. Where are you finding leads? How are you producing leads? Topic number 3 was networking, so primarily focused on in-person or virtual events. And then topic number 4 is technology and tools, which is obviously rapidly growing in our industry. So I'll just roll in and talk about our, the group's kind of 3 key takeaways for database management. So number 1, ensure your data is accurate. Garbage in, garbage out is a common saying in our industry right now. If your data is not clean, you're not going to be able to produce very good results, when you're marketing or trying to communicate with your database through technology. So whatever that looks like, and just one takeaway, we actually have partners within our group that can jump in and skim through all of your data, your entire database, and they can clean everything up. They can put the correct rate. They can put the correct maturity date. This is one of the biggest issues that we see brokers having right now is everyone has data. None of it's clean. No one has the time or ability or want to go through that. It's such a minute, detailed process. So we have people that you guys can hire to do that for you. I highly suggest it. So clean data is extremely important. Thinking about it right now too, pulling reports of past clients' rates and maturity dates. Like, how are you possibly communicating with your clients about renewals if you don't have clean data? So that was the biggest one. Get your data clean. If you're thinking about getting into this and starting to communicate with your database, tackle that piece first. Number 2 is a balance of automation and personal touch. So again, technology is rapidly growing in our industry, which is amazing. It's creating a lot of automation and efficiency for brokers. A couple just primary ideas that came up. Automated birthday notes, right? Text, email, whatever you want to use. Birthdays are huge. It's easy. It's every single year. It's a slam dunk way of keeping in touch with your client and sending a nice note. So anniversaries, right? So if you're mortgage funded on July 30th of last year, every single year there should be some sort of an annual anniversary note going out to clients requesting an annual review. And then another note just on newsletters, however often you want to do that. I know a lot of people do them bi-weekly or monthly, but some sort of a general market update going out to your database, keeping them informed of what's going on. So again, a lot of that can be automated. Obviously, the newsletters, you're probably having to put some content together for that. In and around all of that, outside of automation, a big point came up, which was human touch, right? Like you can't just automate your full business. It can't all of the communication can't go through technology. Have a phone call every single year. One thing that we've always done with our personal book of business is an annual review. We do everything we can to get our clients on the phone for 15 minutes once a year. We talk about their situation. We get an update on what's going on in their life. We give them an update on the market. And if there's any opportunities for them, right? Do you guys have plans to move, refinance, renovate, right? And even if it's not right now, you can make notes and you got another follow-up call next year. So make sure that you are rolling in some personal touch, some verbal communication in and amongst all the automation. The third piece was tying into the number 1, which is accuracy of data. Are you just communicating with your clients to say hi, to say happy birthday, to say, hey, it's your annual review? Or are you actually trying to find opportunities for your clients, which can create business for yourself? Back to accurate data. If you had tracked, as one example, which is very topical right now, if you had tracked all of your purchases or refinances and the term, the maturity date, and the rate, if everyone remembers about a year and a half ago, we had 3-year fixed rates coming in at 6.5% plus. You should be able to pull a list of all of those clients and you should be communicating with them to see if there's an opportunity to save them some money. You could look at a refi, figure out the savings of getting them into maybe a new 3-year fixed rate at close to 5%, significant drop. Factoring in penalty and legal costs doesn't make sense, but that's just one example of opportunities that you should be as a broker presenting to your clients, which again is going to benefit them, but also yourself. So those are the 3 takeaways for database management. I don't know if you guys have anything to add there.
Yeah, no, not really. Obviously the common theme was just like the fact that you have to utilize some form of a CRM or piece of technology to really manage this, and it just plays down the theme that we've been talking about for weeks and weeks and weeks now with the perfect loan process. Like all of this stuff just ties in. So, moving on, why don't we pass it off to Jason for topic 2, which was lead generation, and yeah, why don't we take away the top 3 takeaways there?
Another big topic in the industry now, of course, is how do I get new business? How am I kind of moving the needle and growing? So leveraging warm markets and social media, I think a lot of brokers kind of segment themselves to working with, just a couple realtors or accountants, but they don't really spread their wings out and look at other financial service sectors. Financial planners have been a really hot topic, and how do we partner with financial planners and how do we incorporate them into our business? What can you bring them, and how you guys could look at doing referrals back and forth? Engaging content. I think a lot of the time when we put content out via social media or however we're communicating with the clients, it can be just rate driven or very kind of basic information. But if we kind of up our game and give some education around what we could actually do as a broker, what can we do for clients, what can we do for referral sources, and really helping give them material to maybe pass out to their clients, they'll kind of feel a lot more secure in using you as a referral partner because they know that you're helping them on their side of the business as well.
So I'll just chime in just with a comment on engaging content. Like if we look at like educational content, one thing that like the Gary Vee approach comes up quite a bit in this topic, where if you show a client everything about your knowledge on how to achieve, let's say, a strategy or something that you would, a lot of brokers or professionals might think, hey, maybe I should keep this to myself and share it to my client from a strategy perspective, one-on-one. When you show the whole world, hey, like this is how I do that, this is the strategy, give away all your tricks, people are more willing to trust you that you really do know what you're talking about. If you're willing to give it away, as much as, let's say the insecure mind might think, hey, I can take this away and I can go do it myself. The reality is people just want an expert to do it for them. So I think that's a big one. And one thing I just wanted to touch on when it came to financial planners is like, it was pretty shocking just how many brokers in our group, like very, very good brokers, high volume brokers, were not even working with financial planners. It was such an untapped segment, at least in this group. And just one thing that kept coming up was that, if you can show value to a financial planner that you're not willing to, or you're not going to place their client referrals with a major bank that could potentially cross-sell their clients from an investment perspective, if there's an ability to place their clients with, at a similar rate or ultimately a good solution for them opposed to going to the bank, seem to win a lot of trust with those financial planners. So sorry to chime in there, but I think there was some good stuff
another
there.
piece of that is understanding the products that some of the lenders have that actually tie in really well to working with financial planners. I think some brokers are kind of missing what we have available to us. You could actually tie into your business and build a business with a financial planner. So topic 2 was building and maintaining strong relationships. Every client, every referral partner, everybody that you meet should know that you're a broker and what you do and how you do it. We want to do our best to create what we call raving fans. And you want to have people out on the streets talking about you, talking about how great the experience was working with you as the broker, creating VIP lists for your business and kind of who's referring you the most business, what clients are talking to you about, and maybe perhaps giving those VIP clients extra touch points and extra love and really kind of honing in on that relationship and kind of growing that stronger. One of the big things that came up too was, how many referral partners do I work with? And, do you spread your wings out and you work with 15 or 20 of them, or is it better to have 2 or 3 that are consistently giving you business? I would say it's much better to have a limited amount of referral partners that really know and understand you, know how you operate. You can actually know and understand how they operate, which is going to help you find the client that they look for as well. So a lot of good points that came up around that. Point number 3 was utilizing referral sources and reviews. I think a lot of the times we have some sort of a block to asking for somebody to put out a review and tell us, or, tell the public how good of job we did as a broker and how easy the experience was. So ask your referral partners to leave Google reviews, and you should be doing the same for them. It helps build trust, it helps build rapport, and then, it kind of puts you in a position where you guys know that you're out working to help each other grow their business. One last thing that came up with that was encouraging your clients to leave you reviews as well. If you're doing a good job for your client, you're going to have fans, you're going to have them talking about you. If they're talking about you on the streets, then the referral business should come.
Yeah, it's a good point. And like just one thing I wanted to touch on is just if you are working with those referral partners in a very close business planning relationship. Let's say like, you're both trying to build each other's business. You're both referring each other back and forth. Consider encouraging your clients to leave your referral partners reviews as well, not just you getting them to leave you a review, and vice versa. That you could see more impact the more that the client's being asked to do that action.
Yeah, on that second point, build and maintain strong relationships. Like I think that word maintain is so important, and that's where a lot of people let go. It's like you put in all this work to get this real estate agent to start sending you business, and then you kind of just think mentally you've got him or you've got her. And then, as we all know, anyone that's been in this business for a bit and you've worked with referral partners, like there's absolutely a shelf life, right? Especially if you're working with a high producing realtor. These people are getting calls from other mortgage brokers constantly, right? Brokers that have better tech than you, better service. They're not as busy, so they can answer quicker. Like you just have to maintain those relationships. You got to make time to call them, check in on them, meet with them, and talk about your business over the last 12 months, right? Like, are you guys supporting each other back and forth? Is there anything that you could do better to help their business? I just think you really got to put the maintenance in, because it takes so much energy to get that referral partner working with you. And most realtor relationships are not long lasting, and you can put blame on either side, but as long as you've done everything you can to maintain it, I think that's all a broker can do.
Well said. Okay, so jumping into topic 3. So the third topic of the mastermind was networking, and this is a pretty broad topic. And again, like for this mastermind, we did go pretty broad and far to try to see what we could hone in on. And again, like some of the stuff that came out of here was really, really good. And one of the pieces that was talked about was more so around events and getting involved in events, not just from a perspective of attending events, but also planning your own events. And a big piece that came out of that was quality over quantity. Focus on quality interactions over quantity. So if you're thinking about being at an event, a lot of folks think, hey, I'm at this networking event. I need to reach out to every single person I possibly can, get as many business cards, hand out as many business cards as possible. Where the feedback actually was, no, maybe just have like 3 very quality conversations with 3 individuals that you're trying to reach out to. So going to an event and maybe targeting 3 individuals or 2 individuals and really honing in on them and having a real quality conversation, building a connection, and then having something to actually follow up on. So that was a big one that I thought made a lot of sense. And, also just from a perspective of being a part of the event, looking to, help out, connect with the people that are organizing the event. So like, let's say you're at an event and, the people that are putting the event on, and you want to, deeper connect with the people that are doing that can be very beneficial from a perspective of leading to introductions or other quality type connections from that.
Yeah, that was actually brought up by Gina in my group, which I really love that point. And the other thing that she mentioned is, like, a lot of times people will get involved, they'll decide to sponsor or get involved in an event kind of last minute. She gets ahead of it. She's very involved in community events. She gets ahead of it, and she tells every single event organizer that she wants to be involved from day one, and she wants her name on all the marketing that goes out for the 6 months leading up to the event, right? So she's obviously learned that over time, and not committing to these last minute, because you're not getting the exposure that you do if you get ahead of it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's a great piece. So
I got one more piece on the network, and this came up quite a bit in our group. We had a couple of newer to industry brokers in our group, and I think when people come into this industry, they think that every mortgage broker or salesperson has to be this extroverted, kind of outgoing, go to networking events, hand out cards, and kind of be the life of the party, let's say. But networking doesn't always have to be face-to-face and in person. You can actually network online through your social media platforms, through your LinkedIn profiles and all of that. Jumping in and trying to build a little bit of rapport with somebody through a LinkedIn message and kind of understanding what they do as an example before meeting them face-to-face. That's an effective way to do it too, where you kind of, as I say, build that rapport before meeting them in person. I know there are a lot of brokers out there that are worried and nervous about going out into a public setting and doing that. So just know that networking doesn't always have to be face-to-face, interacting with tons of people and going to events. There's other ways that we can do that too to build a relationship.
Yeah, it's a really good point. We touched on strategy around that in actually an earlier episode around the art of cold calling and just being able to kind of build a connection with somebody through LinkedIn, like Jason just mentioned, could be actually very effective. That's a good point. And the Number 2 takeaway here from networking was follow up. The most important action after meeting somebody is actually following up. Blocking time, say for the morning after the event, would be very effective in a sense of making sure you get those emails out, those touch bases, connections on LinkedIn, text messages, whatever it is, making sure that your follow up is started immediately, and then looking to schedule a meeting right away with those folks. Don't wait on that. Like, immediate action is so important here. Anything to add on just a follow-up strategy there?
I think just pushing for a meeting, right? Like, you can spend tons of time and energy and money at events, and you get 3 contacts, and then you follow up, and then it fizzles away. Like, get them into your database, your CRM as a potential referral partner. Set a follow-up task. A lot of times these people aren't going to respond right away, but push for a meeting, push for a Zoom, push for a phone call. Like, if you're not doing that, it's all for nothing, right? It's great to be at these events and show face, but at the end of the day, like, it's got to pay off for your business.
Yeah, totally. So the last top 3 takeaway here from networking was creative client engagement. And so this one came up in actually a group I was involved in around hosting community events, and especially using strategies from a community event for your own client database. This is a great way to stay in touch with your clients. One thing that came up, which is actually something we've done quite effectively in our book of business, was hosting events like a pumpkin patch day, or what we call our pumpkin event, our annual pumpkin event, where we invite all of our clients to a farm right around Halloween and give everyone a pumpkin. And it's a very cost-effective event. I mean, typically when you're going to buy that many pumpkins, usually the farm in most cases will host you for free, or in some cases very minimal cost, because you're going to be buying so many pumpkins from them. There's been some cool strategies, follow-up strategies from that, where pumpkin carving contests can follow from that, and get more engagement from your clients in a perspective of not just the time at the event, but afterwards, taking part in that contest and sharing that on social media, and building all of that into your engagement following the event. So we found that these types of community events have been great from a perspective of just staying in touch with your clients, but also encouraging your clients to maybe invite friends and family to those events. And now you have a potential referral or now exposure to another group of people, seeing what you're all about and what you're willing to do for your clients. I thought that was a really fantastic piece.
Yeah, and like, if you're going to do an event, make sure you have some sort of a tool for people to post it on social media. Like, we've always done a push on that. We'll do like a kids coloring contest, and we get people to post it, right? So definitely try to get as much exposure as you can from those events. It can be massive, and like Dean said, very cost effective. You could be 3 years into this business with 30 past clients. Like, you don't have to do a pumpkin event. You can do a movie theater, right? And you can also split these. If you have a friend that's a broker in the office, like, you can do it with another broker. There's a lot of realtors, a lot of brokers that will join up on these events to make it more cost effective and make sure that they can fill a room. I mean, you could realistically host an event with a fair amount of people for probably $1,000, right? And there's that allows you to do emails, calls, follow-ups, like reach out to all of your clients prior. Back to the VIP list, like, your VIP clients should probably get the invite first, right? So that's just one benefit of being an active kind of referral source or supporter of your business. So yeah, don't overthink it. It can be very cost effective, and highly suggested.
Let's roll into the last topic of our mastermind event, which was tech and tools. This was a big one, so we'll all riff on this one a little bit. I'll start off with the number one takeaway from this topic was incorporating advanced tools. So there is so many tools out there. That's one thing I definitely realized as a takeaway, is just how much tech is out there, and trying not to get bombarded with all of it, and trying to isolate maybe 1 or 2 or 3 at the most that can be really impactful, because these costs can really add up. But one that came up, which was really interesting, was using ringless voicemail for marketing or just blast updates. So what essentially this is you're recording a message. You're putting in a list of phone numbers into this software, and then that software is blasting those voicemails out to that entire list of people. So what would happen is it doesn't actually ring their phone. It would look like they missed a call from you, and there would be a voicemail there, and that voicemail would be this pre-recorded message, which not something we've actually utilized in our own business, but something I think could be very, very effective from, let's say, a perspective of hosting an event like we just talked about, getting that message out there that you're doing the event, or maybe, let's say, an emergency rate cut. Hopefully, one of those comes soon, like in the pandemic, where boom, 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 we had 3 emergency rate cuts. And that could have been blasted out by a ringless voicemail to let people know. So whatever the case is, that seemed like a good one. A lot of talk around AI, ChatGPT for content creation. We've definitely seen this in our own business. We've utilized this at quite a decent extent. As an example, we're on this podcast right now. We're having a transcript produced after the show. So, a full transcript of the entire show is produced, and then taking AI to clean that up and turn it into a blog. It's just an example of where you can use content creation with AI, or even just simply using ChatGPT to clean things up. So, as an example, you could write, let's say, a short paragraph for a description of a post, and asking ChatGPT to actually clean that up and add, so let's say add emojis, add hashtags, what have you, make it look like a social post. So definitely some cool stuff there. A big one that continues to come up in a lot of our talks and something we've utilized for years now is Loom and BombBomb. So that face-to-face video or that screen sharing ability with video to explain something or share something. Very, very good from a perspective of, in the process trying to share something in the business or even just social media content. There's a lot of reasons why you would utilize that software. So something to certainly check out there. Text message marketing, we're utilizing this through Velocity. There's other features through Blue that you could utilize to SMS through with an app called Twilio that connects. So you buy your own phone number through Twilio and then have that connected to Velocity or Blue, and then being able to text message at the masses to your list. Updates, all the same things that maybe ringless voicemail would work for, but even more so what we've seen from like a milestone perspective, keeping your clients engaged and updated as you go through the process. Canva came up quite a bit from a design tool. It's actually a relatively inexpensive tool to utilize. There's a lot of templates on there from social posts, email blasts, any sort of post marketing material. So a card or, a poster or what have you, an event, banners, there's just tons of stuff there that seem to be a real hit. And last but not least, utilizing the milestone feature in Blue as an example. So Blue is a CRM that we use, the ability to blast out emails and also connected to SMS would go through the milestone feature, which is, again, just back to keeping people updated and informed. So yeah, a lot said there from a perspective of incorporating advanced tools. Maybe Derek, you can take away the utilization of document portals, which we're seeing increase frequently now, and there's a lot of reasons why this makes sense.
Yeah, a virtual document portal, I think if you're not using one, you should definitely be exploring it. It's going to make your life a lot easier. It's also safe and secure for clients. You think about the amount of documentation that a broker has to collect from a client nowadays on a typical conventional or alternative file. It's significant. It's a lot of personal information. Obviously, there's cyber insurance for a reason now. There's a lot of fraud and a lot of scams out there. So document portal, I'll talk about Velocity as an example. It's a portal for a client to upload their documentation, broker then having access on the back end. Where this really starts to be beneficial is not having to pay for a third-party server to store all your documents, such as Google Drive, Dropbox, what have you. You can actually keep all your documentation inside of your system, such as Velocity. And in addition to that, we're starting to see more and more lenders connect directly to Velocity's document portal, so that rather than, taking all your documents out of Google Drive and uploading to the lender's portal, or even emailing them to the lender, you can basically give direct access to these documents from Velocity to the lender. Again, just creating a ton of efficiency. You're probably going to get away from shrinking these big document packages that can't be sent via email. So there's a lot there. I personally put a lot of weight on the security aspect of this, just because of the way that our world's going. Like, we're constantly hearing about, 15,000 car dealerships were just hacked about a month and a half ago, right? Like, we have to protect all the data. And you think about, again, the amount of information that we're sitting on as brokers and brokerage owners, it's significant. So I think that's a big piece, and it's going to continue to get better as time goes on. But again, if you're not, highly suggest it.
Yeah, and just The one piece that emphasizes that is just, again, the lenders are going this direction. Almost all banks and lenders are wanting documents to be submitted to them through a portal. So, last but not least, the takeaway here was just embracing the simplicity and scalability. Maybe Jason, you can kind of take that one away.
Yeah, I think we just heard Dean kind of riff at the initial topic of all of the different techs and all the tools that we could use. I mean, it could get ultra confusing. It's like drinking out of a fire hose and all the stuff that gets pushed at us. So I think keeping things very simple, understanding the tech that you're going to use, and just go forward with that and become a pro at using that. One thing that I would say is when I look at ChatGPT and all of that, a lot of the articles are all written the same. So I would say to try to find a tech platform that still allows you to give your own personal spin on stuff and add your own personality to it. All the posts that I see with rocket ships and graphs and all of that stuff, you could tell they're all written by ChatGPT. So I like to see some personal touch. And I think that really, again, breaks down to just picking one tech platform, understanding it, mastering it. How is that going to work into your business and your flow, and just move it with that.
I like the rocket ships though, so I'll keep those.
You do.
All right. So moving on, we found huge success here. Hopefully, just listening to this episode, you're finding success in this event in your own right because of just some of the great takeaways that we had. This is something we're going to continue to do on a regular basis at A Better Way Mortgage Group, and we're excited to announce our next mastermind is actually going to be September 12th at 10 a.m. More details will follow, so registration links and whatnot will come out shortly through the A Better Way Mortgage Group agent intranet. If you're not an agent with us and this is something you're interested in, definitely reach out to us and find out how to get involved. These events are meant for our own agents at A Better Way Group, but if it's something you want, you're not maybe getting in your business and you want access to it, definitely reach out and we can work on just how to work on that. I want to just talk about some of the topics that we are looking at focusing on going forward. We're going to just riff on a few topics that we're focusing on. And if there's anything maybe that sticks out to you as a listener and you want to attend this event and maybe you want to focus on one of these topics more than the other, definitely let us know. Reach out to us, comment wherever you're seeing this. But I'll start off. So the suggested topics for the next mastermind: holiday and annual events / gifting. So this is a big one for us. I know we've riffed on this back and forth in our business many times. Is just ultimately like, what type of gifts do you pick? Meaningful and personalized gifts versus, the timing and when to present these gifts. This is, just that alone. The timing has been such a difficult piece to figure out in our business over the years. Is, are you sending your gifts to your realtors and your referral partners on December 15th when everyone else is? And you just think about yourself as a broker, how many gifts pile up on your desk, almost don't even know where they came from. Like, you start to lose like the meaningful piece about it. And is gifts, again, it's just back to is a gift the right call there. So there's a lot there that we want to dive into, and then again, just budgeting and understanding like what is the ROI on some of this stuff, and ultimately maybe just deciding it's not for you. So that's one that stuck out for us. The next topic that we're looking at was just personal development and leadership. There's a few things that you can jump into there, just building leadership skills, looking for more work-life balance. A next topic was business growth and scaling. So looking at expanding into maybe new markets, hiring and managing a team, kind of back to the whole perfect loan process type of thing. Business planning for the next year or for the new year. This is something that a lot of people maybe slack on, and there's certain things that work and don't work for others. So looking at that, especially timely, just given that we're going to be going into the last quarter of the year. Client education and empowerment. So looking at just providing more educational resources for our clients, hosting webinars, workshops, pros and cons to all that. Last one that we had here was regulatory compliance and risk management. Given with AML coming, changes in our industry, staying on top of compliance, what your best practices are for insurance compliance. A lot of good stuff there that I think would be very timely to address in this next session. Those are the ones that we came up with. So there's about 6 there that we came up with. If there's any others that you think would be impactful to address, definitely reach out and let us know. If there's anything here that I've highlighted that sticks out to you, definitely let us know. We want your feedback for the next session. We want to make it as most impactful as possible. I'll wrap up there. Just some additional resources. Again, if you want access to the full notes from every room from the mastermind event, it is found under our training videos and resources page on the ABW intranet, so the agent intranet. I'll wrap up with our segment around listener interaction. So we do have a listener question. We encourage your questions and feedback. Again, it really does help us craft our content going forward. So I'll bring up the question that came up. Maybe Jason, you can address this one. What is your recommendation to learn how to be a better mortgage broker? As an independent broker with no team, I struggle at times trying to hone my craft and learn more.
I think there's a lot of information that we can gather and learn, and all the topics that Dean just went over for the mastermind. It's are you business planning? Are you doing personal development? Are you attending training sessions? Are you doing your local association conferences? So I think gathering a lot of knowledge and kind of understanding how this business really works will make you become a better broker in theory. I think it's also who you attach yourself to, right? You're an independent broker, but what brokerage are you working with? Is the brokerage that you're working with providing training? Are they doing masterminds? Are they giving you access to the lenders? Are they hosting events where lenders come in and present to you? So I think every day that you're in this industry, even on the slow days, are the days where you should be learning more and more and more about what do our lenders do? What are our referral partners doing? How do I get more business? How do I plan? So I think really the best way to become a better broker is surrounding yourself with great brokers. And I would say that kind of ties into the brokerage you're attached to. Be involved in a culture, be involved in a group that's doing a lot of training and a lot of stuff, and you'll definitely grow and learn.
Quick comment on that, like a collaborative culture in your brokerage is going to be huge, and that's definitely something we've noticed here at A Better Way, and we're very fortunate to have people that are willing to share constantly, and it always seems to be the ones at the very top that are more willing to do that, which is great. So good stuff there. So we'll wrap up on that point. Nice little break from the PLP series. We will get back to the PLP series shortly, so look out for that. And just the last call to action, your feedback, your interaction, it really is important to us. So don't be scared to reach out and share your stuff. On to the next one. Thank you for tuning in. If you found value in this show, please subscribe to our channel on your preferred platform. We're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Your support is incredibly appreciated. We also welcome your reviews and feedback, which are crucial in helping us deliver outstanding educational content. Feel free to share your thoughts. A 5-star review would be fantastic if you think we earned it. Lastly, a vital announcement about Backpack Buddies, our chosen charity for 2024. This remarkable organization addresses a hidden hunger issue many are unaware of. In British Columbia, while school districts provide meals during school hours, numerous children face food scarcity at home, particularly during weekends. Backpack Buddies steps in to support these vulnerable children, ensuring they have easy to prepare, familiar food for weekends. This is achieved through collaborations with schools and an extensive distribution network. Your contribution can make a significant difference. With just $20, you can give a child in need a food bag from Backpack Buddies filled with enough meals and snacks to sustain them over the weekend and more. Once again, thank you for listening, and see you on the next one.